Xiao Lu started to get out of bed. This was all sudden. He needed to hurry and arrange his company affairs before coming back to be hospitalized. Xiao Lu. Xiao Lan was shocked and grabbed his hand. Let go. Xiao Lu violently shook her off. Xiao Lu, I don't care what you're thinking, but you're sick now. Nothing is more important than your health. Can you please stop being so stubborn? I'm worried about you. Xiao Lan couldn't even hold back her desire to cry. She had just begun to understand this brother of hers, and he had just saved her on the spot. Just when she wanted to get closer to him, Xiao Lu had gotten stomach cancer. Her brother. Why was his life so miserable? She didn't understand. All right, Xiao Lan. Can you stop your fake crying? It's disgusting. Xiao Lu sneered. In his eyes, Xiao Lan's tears were just an insincere act, deliberately meant to sicken him. Xiao Yin was startled and said anxiously, We're all worried about you. This is stomach cancer, after all, not a child's game. Of course I know it's stomach cancer. I've known for a long time. But isn't this what you wanted to see? Isn't this what you deliberately brought about? What are you pretending for now? Gulan Jianbo. Wiping the tears from her face, she said between sobs and gasps. You make yourself clear. When did we ever harm you? Just 3 months ago, the roast goose that Xiao Song didn't want to eat, it had already spoiled, and you still forced me to eat it. Back then, you told me with a grin, this is what your big sister specially saved for you. If you don't eat it, you're looking down on me. You're truly a good sister, forcing your younger brother to eat something that had already rotted. I actually believed you at the time, that you had specially saved it for me. It wasn't until it was in my mouth that I realized you were trying to kill me. I threw up for 3 whole days after that before I got better. Xiao Lan, have you forgotten what you did? Xiao Lan's figure shook violently. You wanted to harm me from the start, knowing I had cancer and deliberately hiding it from me. Isn't that a death sentence? What's with the hypocritical act now? Get out. I would rather die than see your 2 disgusting faces. Back in the car, Xiao Lan murmured to herself through her tears. How could I do something so vicious? I'm clearly not that kind of person. She couldn't stop crying. She never imagined that in Xiao Lu's eyes, she was a demon, a murderer. Xiao Yin, yes. To Xiao Lu, family like us are useless. We only bring him endless pain and torment. But it wasn't like this at the beginning. Back then, I just thought he was petty. I never thought of intentionally harming him. Xiao Lu liked the Xiao family so much at first. He even made me afternoon tea to get closer. And this is how I treated him. I wrongly accused him of stealing money and deliberately forced him to eat spoiled food. How could I be so awful? Xiao Yin, I'm the worst one. Xiao Lan muttered. She was filled with despair now, feeling as if her heart had been hollowed out. Xiao Yin started the car, her voice cold and sharp. We all bullied Xiao Lu subconsciously. It's only right that he doesn't want to acknowledge us now. But as his sisters, we can't just ignore him. Regarding Xiao Lu's cancer, have you ever thought about why he didn't know about it himself after the hospital called the house? Startled, Xiao Lan stopped crying. She exchanged a look with Xiao Yin, and the same face appeared in both their minds simultaneously. At the Xiao family home, the latest financial news was playing on the TV. The interactive game developed by top science scholar Xiao Lu has surpassed 5,000 users in its public beta and is expected to launch on all platforms tomorrow. The rollout is going well, and dozens of companies are currently in talks. Xiao Lu has stated that he will balance his studies and his career, giving up neither. A true hero emerges from youth. Xiao Lu is poised to become the new leading figure in the interactive gaming industry and the city's youngest entrepreneur. Listening to the host's lavish praise for Xiao Lu, Xiao Zhengang's expression was complicated. Xiao Lu was the child he looked down on the most, but now his career was unstoppable. If this child had grown up in the Xiao family from the beginning, how much more outstanding would he be? He didn't dare to imagine. Mom, brother is so outstanding. I'll work hard to be filial to you in the future, too. I'll do even better. Seeing his father's expression, Xiao Song hastily promised. Xiao Lu's recent performance had made him very uneasy. That's why he had been acting particularly well-behaved lately, afraid that the Xiao parents would be dissatisfied with him. More than once, he had cursed in his heart. Why hasn't Xiao Lu dropped dead yet? If he died, he wouldn't have to be so servile like he was now. It was all that damned Xiao Lu's fault. With a click, the Xiao Yin sisters walked in from outside. Seeing that the whole family was there, they cut straight to the chase and dropped a bombshell. Did you know that Xiao Lu has stomach cancer? What? Xiao Zhengong looked up in shock. Wang Guanmei was in disbelief. He really has stomach cancer? He's so young. Then, her face filled with scorn, she said, "This is retribution for disobeying his parents. That's what he gets for being disobedient." Xiao Yan's heart sank. She hadn't expected Wang Guanmei to still have this attitude towards Xiao Lu, even at a time like this. Xiao Lan couldn't help but directly question Xiao Song. When Xiao Lu first came home, the hospital found he had a cancerous tendency. They called the house and even mailed his medical records. Did you know about it? Sister, what do you mean by that? If I really knew, how could I not tell my brother? I'm not that kind of person, Xiao Song said with a hurt and aggrieved expression. But after everything that had happened, Xiao Lan had no trust left for this younger brother. It was he who had tearfully begged her to wrongly accuse Xiao Lu, even claiming he had seen Xiao Lu steal money before. It was also his idea to give the roast goose to Xiao Lu. Even the incident at the swimming pool that led to a fever. Thinking about it carefully, every time Xiao Lu was punished, his younger brother's shadow was behind it. It was just that he was always able to hide, letting him be the villain. Realizing this, Xiaolan only felt that she was laughable and foolish. To be used as a knife by Xiao Song without even knowing it. Exactly, what does this have to do with Song? He's so young. How would he understand these things? Maybe a servant put it away by mistake. You're his older sister. How can you think of your brother like that? Wang Guanmei said with a look of utter entitlement. Xiao Lan was somewhat desperate. Is Xiao Lu not my brother then? He has cancer now, and you're treating it so lightly. Mom, he's the most outstanding child in our family. My only full-blooded brother. Sister, am I not your brother? Unable to believe Xiao Lan could say such a thing, Xiao Song trembled as tears fell. Xiao Yin summoned the butler. Do you need to see the surveillance footage to understand? Uncle Zhang, go check the surveillance from that day. I want to see what my dear brother was up to. Wang Guanmei hugged Xiao Song to comfort him. Don't be afraid. Mom believes you would never do something like this. Shaking with fear, Xiao Song clung to Wang Guanmei's sleeve like a lifeline. The surveillance footage was pulled up to the day the hospital called. In the video, it was clearly Xiao Song who walked over and answered the phone. Yes, the physical examination report? Okay, I'll look out for it. A high probability of cancer? Okay, I understand. He pretended to be Xiao Lu, agreeing readily, then skillfully manipulated the phone's keypad, blocking all of the hospital's numbers. Someone handed over the physical examination report. The members of the Qiao family watched as the Qiao Song in the video took it, and while walking back into the house, tore the report into pieces. Stomach cancer? Why don't you just go die, Xiao Lu? You deserve this. That's what you get for competing with me. You deserve to die, preferably a painful death with your insides rotting away. Looking at Xiao Song's vicious face in the video, Wang Guanmei could no longer deceive herself that her youngest son was simple and harmless. She stood up in shock, as if she had never known this child. Song, you really hid his medical report. Xiao Yin sneered. And not just that, you were the one who framed Xiao Lu for stealing money before, weren't you? Xiao Song. During Xiao Lu's college entrance exams, a few thugs went to harass him. I recently had a private investigator find them. Do you know what they said? They said you paid them a lot of money to do everything they could to ruin Xiao Lu's exams. My dear brother, just how much have you done behind our backs? What did Xiao Lu ever do to you that you want him dead? Xiao Song's face turned pale. He never expected Xiao Yin to suddenly side with Xiao Lu and start checking the surveillance footage. Nor did he expect that, by such a coincidence, Xiao Lu would go back to the same hospital for a checkup and be recognized by the doctor. Xiao Zhengong stood up, his face dark. Thinking of Xiao Lu's current achievements, which should have been the glory of the Qiao family, now it had turned into a life-and-death struggle, a joke for outsiders to see. After the last incident with the false accusation about the diamond ring, who knows how many wealthy families in the capital were laughing at his family's disgrace. And all of this was secretly orchestrated by this adopted son? The matter with the ring, was it you? Xiao Zhengong pressed, his face cold. No, Believe me, Dad. Do you want me to bring Xiao Lu here for a confrontation? How could it be such a coincidence that your mom couldn't find a ring just as Xiao Lu happened to come home? Was it you? There are always traces left behind. If Qiao Zhengong really investigated, the things Xiao Tsong had done couldn't be hidden. His face turned ashen, and he lowered his head, trembling. Seeing him like this, how could anyone present not understand? With a slap, Qiao Zhengong hit his adopted son for the first time. The Qiao family has not treated you poorly, even treating you better than your two older sisters. Is this how you repay us? Just because you were afraid Xiao Lu would take your place, you wanted him dead? How can you be so heartless and ungrateful? Qiao Zhengong pointed at Xiao Tsong's face and cursed. And this time, even Wang Guomei stood by with a pale face, not defending him. 5-4-3-2-1. Launch successful. Liang shouted, pulling Xiao Lu's hand. We did it. The game can officially go live tonight. Once the marketing campaign rolls out, we'll definitely get more registered users. But even so, our game is still the one with the fastest growing momentum right now. Xiao Lu, we won. Good, then I can rest assured. You take care of the company. I need to go to the hospital for surgery in the next 2 days, Xiao Lu instructed. The results of the stomach biopsy were out. He couldn't escape it after all. It was indeed cancer. But fortunately, it was still in the early stages. The doctor said the success rate of the surgery was over 90%. After arranging everything at the company, Xiao Lu went to the hospital alone. The doctor was right. The surgery went very smoothly. Just as he awoke in the hospital bed, Xiao Lu received a text message from Xiao Zhengong. Xiao Tsong was the one who hid your medical records. We've already taught him a lesson. We're truly sorry. Come home when you have time. We all miss you. A rare, fatherly tone. In the past, Xiao Lu would have been overwhelmed by the favor. But now, he directly blocked Xiao Zhengong's number. The Qiao family, like his cancer, was a sickness in his life. Given a second chance, he had long decided to cast it all aside and start anew. In this life, Xiao Lu no longer needed a family. Xiao Lu was recuperating quietly in the hospital, but some people wouldn't let him be at peace. Xiao Tsong, for instance. He knew what he had done could not be hidden from the family's eyes. In a fit of rage, Xiao Zhengong had again threatened to send him away. He immediately started a hunger strike at home, lying in bed half dead, claiming he wanted to atone for his sins. I know I've wronged Brother Xiao Lu. I was so envious of him. I envied his excellent grades, envied how he could be a part of the Qiao family, as if it were his birthright. Meanwhile, I always had to tiptoe around at home like an outsider, terrified of being abandoned one day. I know I must have been out of my mind to have done such things. I have no right to ask for your forgiveness, but I truly and sincerely thought of myself as a member of this family. I just want to stay. I just want to be your son. Mom, will you only forgive me if I die? Qiao Tsong lay in bed, his face as pale as paper, as he spoke. He hadn't eaten for 2 or 3 days, not even a sip of water. His throat was now dry and his appearance withered, so pitiful that Wang Guomei couldn't bear to say another harsh word. In the years when Xiao Lu was lost, Xiaolon and Xiao Yin had to attend school. It was Xiao Tsong who had accompanied her through those most difficult days, and it was this younger son who had truly let her experience the joy of being a mother. Now, looking at the lifeless Xiao Tsong, Wang Guomei's heart was about to break. She turned to Xiao Zhengong. We watched this child grow up. Are we really going to push him to his death over this? That Xiao Lu has always been rebellious. Even without Tsong, he would still resent us. Why are you so insistent on sending Tsong away? Xiao Zhengong's expression was icy. Looking at this younger son he had once doted on, he now felt a sense of weariness. If you have the time, you should worry about your biological son. Because of this adopted one, Xiao Lu has become so estranged from us that he won't even acknowledge his own parents. Unless the two of them are willing to coexist peacefully, we can only keep one of these 2 children. He was a businessman, and what he did best was weigh the pros and cons. Although he had more affection for this younger son, right now, Xiao Lu was the more outstanding one. Considering the future of the Qiao family, Xiao Lu was the one more suited to be their son. The Qiao family's enterprise also involved the animation industry, so they naturally knew the great potential of the game Qiao Lu had created. It was still the talk of the industry. Thinking of this, Xiao Zhengong felt a sour taste in his mouth. Such a good son, such outstanding achievements. All this glory should have belonged to the Qiao family, but because of Qiao Song, it was all ruined now. His tone grew even colder. Everyone must pay the price for their actions. You harmed Xiao Lu to such an extent. You can no longer stay in the Qiao family. We will support you until you graduate from university. After that, what becomes of you has nothing to do with us. Wang Guomei had always thought of herself as being strict with her children, but at this moment, she realized that when it came to ruthlessness, she could never compare to her husband, a child they had raised from a young age. Even if he made a mistake, could they just cast him aside like this? Qiao Songsong's face turned deathly pale. As a man himself, he understood Xiao Zhengong's meaning very clearly. He was seen as a useless pawn, and the intention was to discard him. But the Qiao family was a prestigious, wealthy clan. Since childhood, he had prided himself on being the only male heir, accustomed to throwing his weight around. If he left the Qiao family now, where could he possibly go? At this thought, Qiao Songsong finally panicked and burst into tears. His face flushed red as he scrambled and fell off the bed, kneeling beside Xiao Zhengong. Dad, don't abandon me. I'm willing to apologize to Brother Qiao Lu, willing to kneel and kowtow to him, as long as you're willing to let me stay in the Qiao family. He clutched at Xiao Zhengong's sleeve, weeping and begging without a shred of dignity. Please, give me one more chance. Let me explain to Brother Qiao Lu that everything that happened before was my doing alone and has nothing to do with the Qiao family. The reason Brother Qiao Lu hates you so much is all because of me. I should have kowtowed and apologized to him long ago, both to atone for my own sins and to clear your names. Qiao Songsong trembled as he cried, but the meaning behind his words was crystal clear. He went to apologize to Qiao Lu, taking all the blame for the previous conflict between the Qiao family and Xiao Lu upon himself, using this to trade for a chance to stay in the Qiao family. Compared to the ethereal concept of familial affection, Qiao Songsong subconsciously felt that this matter held more weight with Xiao Zhengong. Sure enough, Xiao Zhengong hesitated for a moment, but still nodded. He wanted Xiao Lu as a son, and what Xiao Songsong did was a good way to ease their relationship. Coincidentally, this also provided an opportunity for them to visit Xiao Lu. After all, Xiao Songsong was responsible for what happened before. As parents, they had already taken the initiative to lower themselves and visit Xiao Lu in the hospital. There was no reason for Xiao Lu to refuse them again. A group of people went to the hospital without any grievance or ill will. After hearing their intentions clearly, Xiao Lu's face was full of craftiness. You don't really think that by pushing all the blame onto Qiao Songsong, you can come away with clean hands, do you? Hearing this, Wang Guomei's face stiffened. No matter how much Xiao Zhengong told her about Xiao Lu's excellence, she still couldn't stand a rebellious look on this son's face. Parents naturally have a claim of kindness over their children. But this second son of hers, Xiao Lu, held on to those trivial matters and endlessly opposed them. She really couldn't bring herself to like him. Seeing Xiao Lu's unyielding appearance, Xiao Zhengong gave Qiao Songsong a look. The latter then fell to his knees with a thud before Xiao Lu, kowtowing and admitting his fault through tears. Everything that happened before was my fault. If I don't explain it to you clearly, my conscience won't be at ease. When you were lost as a child, Mom couldn't sleep night after night. Dad was afraid she would do something foolish, so he adopted me. It's because of you that I've been able to enjoy so many years of wealth and honor in the Qiao family. It was my own small-mindedness, afraid that you would take it all away, that made me deliberately instigate everyone to hurt you. Actually, Mom and Dad love you the most, otherwise they wouldn't have brought you back. This is all my fault. I must explain it to you clearly. As long as you can forgive me, I'm willing to do anything. I am willing to atone for my sins. After saying this, Qiao Songsong fiercely bowed his head to the ground. He knew that if he didn't perform well enough today, he would be immediately kicked out of the Qiao family by Xiao Zhengong. So no matter how humble he had to be, he had to satisfy Xiao Lu. Qiao Songsong kept his head down, carefully concealing the venom and unwillingness in his eyes. Hud, hud, hud. The sound of his head hitting the ground was startlingly loud. Wang Guomei couldn't bear it and stood behind Xiao Song with tears in her eyes. Xiao Zhengong stepped forward at the right moment and patted Xiao Lu's hand comfortingly. With eyes full of fatherly love, he said, "I know I was busy with work before and neglected the family, causing you to suffer a lot. Your mother has a soft heart and was deceived by Xiao Song, so she was a bit harsh on you. But that's also because you are our only biological child, so it's inevitable that we would be strict with you. Look at how successful your career is now. A large part of that is due to the family's careful cultivation. How can a father and son hold a grudge overnight? Let's just let this matter go. From now on, you will be our most beloved child. As for Xiao Song, you can do whatever you want with him." This was a rare moment of warmth from Xiao Zhengong. He was a serious person, and when he was at the Qiao family, he was very strict even with his several daughters. But now, looking at his pained expression, Xiao Lu only felt a chill run down his spine. Having lived a life worse than death in the Qiao family, he naturally didn't believe that Xiao Zhengong was genuinely distressed for him now. Thinking it over, there was only one reason for the Qiao parents to take the initiative to seek reconciliation. They felt he was now outstanding and had value to be exploited, so they wanted to say some cheap words to make peace, that's all. Before, he only thought they were biased, but now another trait was added. They were mercenary. Before, when they only had one recognized son, Xiao Song, they tried every means to abuse him. Now that they felt he was useful, they immediately abandoned Xiao Song. This couple, do they have any feelings at all? Xiao Gu abruptly pulled his hand away, staring at Xiao Zhengong's hypocritical face, and sneered. "You want to push Xiao Song out as a scapegoat and then reconcile with me? In your dreams. I've said it before, I'm an orphan. My family is all dead. You were the ones who lost me, and you were the ones who starved me to the point of stomach cancer at home. If you had any conscience, you would have apologized to me in person long ago instead of dragging it out and putting on an act here. No wonder you could raise a hypocrite like Xiao Song. You two are truly shameless. Get out. Don't make me call security." Seeing Xiao Lu's stubbornness, Wang Guomei rushed forward in a fit of anger. "We've already apologized to you. What more do you want? Song has been spoiled and pampered. Recently, he has been so worried about you that he can't sleep, and he even went on a hunger strike for you. Do you have no sympathy at all? Do you have to make everyone unhappy?" She spoke with such self-righteousness. Xiao Lu even let out a small laugh. He couldn't understand where Wang Guomei got the audacity to think that an apology could erase everything. Besides, with her shouting and cursing, what kind of apology was this? If apologies were useful, what would we need the police for? "Ms. Wan, are you getting old? Can't you even understand human language now? I don't care what kind of act you're trying to put on. I'm telling you to get out now, didn't you hear me?" Seeing that it was useless to argue, Wang Guomei stomped her foot, grabbed Xiao Zhengong, and turned to leave. "What are you still doing here? Your son is perfectly fine. He even has the energy to curse at us. I must have been possessed to come here with you, just to get yelled at. Song, let's go." The family left in a flurry of motion. Watching their backs, Xiao Lu only felt tired and annoyed. When he craved familial affection, these people trampled him under their feet, forcing him to the point where he would rather die than stay. Now that he had completely let go of everything and had a new life of his own, the Qiao family inexplicably clung to him again. He really had no good feelings for this family. He only hoped they would never meet again. The patient in the next bed had just entered the room and saw the family leaving in a huff. "Were those your parents? How come they left after just a few words?" Xiao Lu sneered. "What parents? I'm an orphan. My family all died a long time ago." Xiao Lu only stayed in the hospital for a brief half-month to recuperate, because not long after, Liang called him. There was a problem with the game. The art and animation for the game were all handled by Liang and Xiao Lu. Currently, only the main characters were available, while the other supporting characters and scenes were being created as the game was in operation. They hadn't expected the game to become a viral hit. Their original plan was to complete all the game's animation within 6 months to a year. But now, in order to rush the schedule, the game was experiencing issues like rough skin textures or dropped frames in animations, and many players had already called to complain. We don't have enough concept artists to draw the drafts. The drafts and post-production alone are a huge problem, and the game's current profits are basically breaking even with expenses. If we hire people according to the quality the game currently demands, it would be an astronomical price. Translated, this meant they were short on people, short on artists, and short on money. Xiao Lu frowned. We definitely can't lower the quality. Our game became popular precisely because of its beautiful graphics and characters, and its strong interactivity. If we sacrifice quality to meet a deadline, that would be penny-wise and pound-foolish. Then what do we do? We simply don't have that much money to hire artists. You don't have any money left either, right? You probably poured your entire net worth into making the game. It was true. Xiao Lu had previously invested most of his assets in the game's production, and then he had given a sum of money to Wang Ma. Although the game was now a hit, the company was just starting out and had many expenses, so very little money had actually reached Xiao Lu's hands. This was a big problem. If word of mouth about quality issues spread from the beginning, it would be difficult for the game to go far. This was Xiao Lu's passion project. He didn't want to compromise by finding people to draw low-priced drafts to save costs, or by reducing the number of characters and maps. After pondering for a long time, Xiao Lu couldn't think of a solution. On the other side, the Qiao family had already decided to help him. Even though they had just had another argument with Xiao Lu, the main theme in the Qiao family now was to get on good terms with him. Especially the two sisters, Qiao Yin and Xiao Lan. They felt both guilty and proud of this brother who had a tragic past but was self-reliant, and they were eager to find an opportunity to make it up to him. After learning about the problems with Xiao Lu's game, both sisters were very anxious. How about this? Xiao Yin will call Xiao Lu later and say that we can help him, so he can focus on getting better. His game is really popular right now, and the industry is paying close attention. It would be a real shame if the follow-up couldn't keep up and the number of registered users dropped. We have to help, Xiao Lan said worriedly, sitting on the sofa. Xiao Yin also had a serious expression. Wang Guomei sneered. Let that boy be arrogant. He doesn't know his own limits, starting a business so rashly. But thinking about the company her son had worked so hard to build, and the previous unpleasantness, she added irritably, if it really comes down to it, just have him hand over the animation production and character design to the Qiao family. We'll do it for him for free. Isn't that good enough? Consider it our apology to the boy. After they had parted on bad terms last time, Wang Guomei had berated Xiao Lu endlessly at home. She felt that this son was petty and mean, holding on to a small mistake and never letting it go. It was Xiao Yin who came back and made her see the light. Since we're admitting our mistake, we should have the attitude of someone admitting a mistake. It's unreasonable for you to force Xiao Lu to forgive. What's more, Xiao Lu almost lost his life in our house. That was a life, not as simple as a meal or a scolding. Even if Song Song kowtowed to him, it would be what he deserves. Now that it's been confirmed that Song Song did something wrong, you still want to deprive Xiao Lu of the right to be angry. On what grounds? Mom, put yourself in his shoes. If someone almost killed you and then offered a couple of light apologies and demanded you forgive them, what would you think? Who would dare treat her like this? If someone really did almost kill her, she would have to flay them alive to vent her anger. She thought this venomously in her heart without realizing it. Wang Guomei's heart skipped a beat, only then realizing how harsh she had been to Xiao Lu. They are both your children. You should at least treat them equally. Mom, Xiao Lu will be your most outstanding son, as long as you can be good to him, Xiao Yin said with certainty. From then on, Wang Guomei did pay a bit more attention to this son. The Qiao family itself was involved in the animation industry. If these two businesses were to be contracted out, the Qiao family, with their years of experience, was indeed the best choice. Feeling sorry for her brother who had to deal with these trivial matters right after being discharged from the hospital for stomach problems, Xiao Yin decided to call Xiao Lu that very day. Hello, who is this? It's Xiao Yin. Hey, don't hang up yet. Xiao Lu, I have a solution for your company's problem. The family can help you. We have a mature animation design team under us. Xiao Yin blurted out in one breath, afraid that Xiao Lu would hang up. If Xiao Lu was willing to accept their goodwill, this would be the first step in breaking the ice in their relationship. Xiaolon and Wang Guimei were both unconsciously paying attention to the goings-on over here. So they also heard Xiao Lu's words clearly. How many times have I said it? Why can't you people understand human language? What family? I don't have a family at all. My brothers and sisters all died after I turned 4. What does my game production have to do with you? Your whole family harmed me to the point of stomach cancer, and then hid my medical report, wishing I would die immediately. If I really let you help, I'm afraid my life would be over. Xiao Yin was a little anxious. The Qiao family was also involved in some animation design projects. No one knew better than her how difficult it was for a game to remain popular for a long time. A problem in any part of the process could lead to the project's failure. Xiao Lu's game had great prospects. It would be a real pity if the game was adversely affected due to a lack of artists. No, Xiao Lu, listen to me. This is not the time for you to be stubborn. We are your family, your closest relatives. We would definitely not harm you. The Qiao family has a mature animation team. Whatever you lack, we can help you immediately. Or you can contract the animation design part to the Qiao family. Mom also just said, we can do it for you for free. Believe me, we really have the ability to help you. This was almost the most sincere offer Xiao Yin could think of, but Xiao Lu still refused flatly, and anyone could hear the sarcasm in his words. What closest relatives? You almost beat me to death back then. That makes you my enemies, my sworn enemies. How could I possibly let you help? Besides, if we were really relatives, why didn't you help when I was wrongly accused? When I was beaten black and blue, why didn't you help? Now that I've started a company, you remember to help. Do I have to be so blunt? You're only coming to me now because you see I have value to be exploited. If I had failed the college entrance exam or hadn't started a company, what would have been the outcome? A dead end. It's ridiculous for you profit-driven people to talk about family affection. You are not worthy of mentioning the word feelings to me. After speaking, Xiao Lu hung up the phone decisively. Xiao Yan's face was a little unsightly, but she knew that Xiao Lu was right. If it weren't for Xiao Lu being so outstanding, they might have always favored little Song Song. She heard that Xiao Lu was beaten until his head was covered in blood the day he left home. If he hadn't found his own way out, that child might have really died outside. Wang Guimei was both anxious and angry when she heard this, and finally said with some hurt, "This rebellious son, after all the hard work of raising him, he actually treats me as an enemy. I am his biological mother. I carried him for 10 months and gave birth to him in pain. How could I possibly harm him on purpose?" Wang Guimei seemed to have forgotten again what she had done to Xiao Lu back then. Those actions were indeed no different from sending him to his death. Xiaolon and Xiao Yin exchanged a look, seeing helplessness and pain in each other's eyes. They genuinely wanted to help this brother, and they had truly realized how cruel they had been to Xiao Lu in the past. They wanted to win this brother back at any cost. But now Xiao Lu wouldn't even accept their goodwill. No matter what, I have to help Xiao Lu this time. We've owed him too much since we were kids. This might be the only chance we get to make it up to him. Xiaolon stood to the side, unconsciously clenching her hands. How can we help? He won't even see us. Xiao Yin pondered for a moment, a flash of inspiration striking her. He doesn't have to see us. If it comes down to it, we can secretly send 2 concept artists over. Just don't do it under the Qiao family's name. Soon after, Xiao Lu received the resumes of 2 concept artists. They claimed to have been suddenly laid off by their previous company with nowhere to go and were devoted fans of his game, so they thought of seeking refuge with him. Their resumes were impressive, listing award-winning projects they had participated in, and their art style was similar to that of Peacekeeping Force. Liang slapped his hands together in delight. This is great. It's a real lifesaver, and the salary they're asking for isn't high. Xiao Lu, you really are a lucky star. The 2 artists had arrived at the perfect time. But was his luck really that good? That 2 people would show up, right after he mentioned needing them. Picking up their resumes for a look, Xiao Lu decided to hire them anyway. Whoever sent them, it wouldn't hurt to use them. As for any ulterior motives, he would bear the consequences. The university had already sent the tuition bill. Xiao Lu took the time to pay it and also registered as a day student. At times like these, he was incredibly glad he had left the Qiao family, no longer needing to bow his head to others for paltry sums. He He was even quite pleased now that the Chow family hadn't registered him in the household, as it saved him a lot of trouble. With the help of the two artists, the subsequent artwork for the peacekeeping game was gradually completed. Finally able to keep up with the speed of new map releases, Chow Lu breathed a sigh of relief, at last having the mental space to deal with his own affairs. Li Yang's mother's birthday was in a few days. Remembering the kindness this Annie had shown him, Chow Lu decided to throw a birthday party for her with Li Yang on the top floor of the Dreamtimes. The two meticulously prepared an evening banquet, filling the space with Mother Li's favorite champagne roses. On the large screen behind them, a photo of their family was displayed. Seeing the venue, Mother Li beamed with a joy she couldn't contain. Lu is so thoughtful to think of all this. This is the first time I've ever had such a heartfelt birthday. Just looking at the bouquets and the video playing on the big screen, one could tell how much effort Chow Lu had put in. Turning her head, Mother Li looked at this child with a complicated background who had always strived to move forward, and her eyes unconsciously grew moist. Chow Lu comforted her. It's what I should do. Besides, you saved me back then. Otherwise, who knows where the Chow family would have tied me up. I owe you a debt of gratitude. What debt? Liang is a flighty kid who doesn't like to study. You were the one who helped him so much during his college entrance exams. Our family is the one who owes you. Now you've gone to such trouble to give me a gift. I truly feel embarrassed. Chow Lu smiled. After the game's success, Mother Li no longer prevented Li Yang from studying animation. Instead, she became a doting mother, fully supporting his career. Sometimes, he even envied Li Yang for having such a caring and loving mother. Don't say that. You're Li Yang's mother, so you're my mother too. It's only right for me to show you some filial piety. Looking at Chow Lu's sincere face, Mother Li's heart was touched. Then, with a hint of trepidation, she said, "If you don't mind, how about I become your godmother? I know you're an outstanding child, the top scorer in the science stream, and you've started your own company at such a young age. You might not think much of our Li family, but it's always good to have one more person who cares for you. If you don't mind." "Auntie, I am willing." Chow Lu cut her off directly. To have a real mother was something he had dreamed of since he was a child. Mother Li had saved him once, and she always remembered to bring him a portion when she sent meals to Li Yang. She had even knitted him a sweater before. In his heart, besides the orphanage director, Mother Li was already his closest elder. He was so happy to have a mother. Good. I'll have 2 sons from now on. Let's make this a family dinner today. Little Lu, sit next to me and let me have a good look at you. Look how thin you are. Wiping a tear, Mother Li sat down and, looking at Chow Lu's thin frame, put a lot of food on his plate. Stunned by this scene of motherly love and filial piety, Li Yang rushed over and threw an arm around Chow Lu's neck. "Wait, so you're my brother now? Chow Lu, you're younger than me. From now on, we're even closer. You'll be my little brother. Come on, call me Big Brother. Get lost. You're only a few months older. I'm not calling you that." The sight of the 2 young men laughing and roughhousing made everyone present chuckle. No one noticed the members of the Chow family standing outside the banquet hall with cold expressions on their faces. Watching Chow Lu thoughtfully help Mother Li sit down and even serve her food, Wang Guomei felt a little jealous. He's cold to his own mother every day, but he's so eager to be someone else's godson. I think this kid is a lost cause. Chow Yin glanced inside the room, a touch of sadness flashing in her eyes. She knew that when it came to intimacy, her family was not as good as the Li family. It was understandable that her brother chose to be a part of their family. Chow Tsong shrank in a corner, not daring to speak. Even though Wang Guomei had made the decision to let him stay, Chow Lu's brilliance was now unstoppable. Everyone was focused on this rising star in the industry. Even Wang Guomei's attitude towards him had softened a lot, something she might not have even realized herself. He was well aware that in the eyes of the current Xiao family, he was just a fake, liable to be kicked out at any moment. So it was better to keep a low profile for now. Seeing the happy family scene inside, Qiao Jingang's eyes were filled with complex emotions. Chow Lu's surname is Chow, which means he's my son. No matter how capable he is, he can only be a member of the Qiao family in this life. Let's go. As for Chow Lu, he will come home sooner or later. Seeing Qiao Jingang's confident expression, Xiao Yin felt that inexplicable panic, but she couldn't put her finger on why. Xiao Lu had already completely fallen out with the family, and he was now independent, able to live well without the family's resources and money. To be honest, she had no confidence at all that Xiao Lu would ever come back. Xiao Yin knew that her father was so concerned about Xiao Lu now because of his business talent. Before, he had thought that the strongest person was Xiao Yin or Xiao Tsung, so he hadn't considered these things. But now that Xiao Lu's talent was on full display, Xiao Zhengong probably believed that Xiao Lu was the most suitable heir to the family. Unfortunately, Xiao Lu had long been estranged from the Qiao family, even seeing them as enemies. From what she knew of him, Xiao Lu had no desire to inherit the Qiao family's assets at all. Her father's plans were likely to come to nothing. Xiao Lu had an unforgettable evening at the Li family's banquet. Knowing that Mother Li had accepted him as her godson, the Li family's attitude towards him became even more affectionate. After the banquet, Mother Li even invited Xiao Lu to stay at her home for a few days, saying she wanted to help him recuperate. After his stomach cancer surgery, Xiao Lu had not been able to rest completely, and he still looked very thin. Unable to refuse her kindness, Xiao Lu finally went, and for a rare time, he experienced the warmth of a family. It was laughable, really, that he had felt something in a Li family that he had never experienced in all his years with the Qiao family. Mother Li would cook him soup, help him tidy his room, and even nag him to eat more. She was just like a real mother. Xiao Lu was very happy and even thought that it would be nice to live like this forever. His good mood didn't last long because something happened at the company. The HR department called him in a panic. "Mr. Qiao, something has happened to peacekeeping. Our artwork has been exposed for plagiarism, and it's from a major foreign company. It's already a hot topic on social media, and the source is those two new concept artists. The map contest is in 2 days. What are we going to do?" Those two concept artists were introverted and spent their days at the company drawing. They had been in the industry for a long time, and the artwork they produced was indeed exquisite and fit the theme of the peacekeeping forces. Most of the artwork for the final map contest was done by them. If this was true, the entire game could be taken down. Liang sat up in a panic. "We finally got these two to help. How could this happen? It's like whatever you're afraid of is what happens. In our circle, if you're involved in plagiarism, the game is ruined." Xiao Lu sneered, his eyes filled with cold mockery. "This isn't a case of what you're afraid of is what happens. This is a premeditated move against us. My luck has always been bad. People who offered to help me usually have a trap waiting for me. I learned that lesson when I was with the Qiao family." Xiao Lu opened his phone and looked. Peacekeeping forces plagiarism. Xiao Lu suspected of plagiarism. These trending topics were displayed prominently on Weibo, and they were high on the list. He wouldn't believe it if someone told him there was no one behind this. At first, Xiao Lu's suspicion fell on Xiao Tsung. But after a moment's thought, Xiao Tsung was just a high school graduate and held no power in the Qiao family. It was very possible for him to hire a few thugs to teach him a lesson, but to specifically hire 2 senior concept artists with salaries of over 50,000 to frame him and spend hundreds of thousands on trending topics, Xiao Tsung didn't have that kind of resources. Then who could it be? The official website of peacekeeping forces had already been flooded with negative comments. The success of a new game would inevitably lead to a shift of users from other games in the same industry. Many game developers were already dissatisfied with Xiao Lu, and now that peacekeeping forces was in trouble, there were plenty of trolls who would come to kick him while he was down. What kind of once-in-a-century new game is this? They can't even be original. They should just shut down. I knew it. How could 2 18-year-old kids possibly make such a huge game? Was this game a copy from the very beginning? The ones they copied from are truly unlucky. So what if he's the top science student? Studying and game development are 2 completely different things. Who knows how he came up with this game? Anyway, plagiarizing dogs should get out of the gaming circle. Their curses grew filthier, and the hype continued to build. In just one short day, everyone in the industry had heard the news. More and more gamers went online to report it. If this continued, Peacekeeper might be frozen. Liang was spinning in circles with anxiety. But the incident had happened so suddenly, and the 2 concept artists had left without a word, taking all the hard drive data with them. For a moment, they couldn't find enough evidence to defend themselves. On the other side, the Chow family was also under a dark cloud. Xiao Yin paced anxiously in the room. How is this possible? Those two concept artists were carefully selected by the Chow family. Their character is absolutely trustworthy. How could they inexplicably frame Xiao Lu for plagiarism? What good would that do them? Damn it. Now even I can't contact them. Someone must be behind this. But if we let public opinion ferment like this, Peacekeeper will be taken offline sooner or later. This is something Xiao Lu poured his heart and soul into. She had wanted to build a good relationship with her younger brother, which was why she had secretly sent people over to help. Now that this mess had happened, Xiao Yin was at her wit's end. Stop pacing around the house. You're making me dizzy. If you really can't figure it out, why don't you go discuss it with Dad? Xiao Lan said, anxious as well. Even she was a little puzzled. Why did it seem that every time they tried to show goodwill to Xiao Lu, their good intentions backfired? It was truly strange. Tonight, Xiao Zhengong was socializing at an industry cocktail party. Originally, he was the only one who needed to go, but Xiao Yin was so worried about Xiao Lu's career that she pushed aside her work and drove over. Besides the netizens, people within the industry were also discussing this controversial game. As soon as Xiao Yin entered, she saw an industry heavyweight, CEO Ho of the largest game development company in the country. They happened to be talking about Xiao Lu. Judging by the initial hype for Peacekeeper, this could have been the hottest game of the year. I didn't expect this plagiarism issue to come up. Perhaps someone wanted to set him up. But those two concept artists can't be found now, and the leaked art from Peacekeeper has been confirmed to be plagiarized. This is a difficult situation. CEO Ho was a professional woman who had seen it all, and she shook her head helplessly. It's a pity for Xiao Lu. The kid really has talent. I don't know who is deliberately targeting him. As for whether it was actual plagiarism, people in the industry didn't necessarily think so. Mainly based on the early quality of Peacekeeper, Xiao Lu had no need to take the risk of plagiarizing. This seemed more like a setup targeting Xiao Lu, with the aim of bringing him down. Xiao Zhengong was standing next to CEO Ho. Hearing this, a dark look flickered in his eyes. Xiao Yin stood behind Xiao Zhengong and didn't see his expression. She anxiously pulled him aside. Those two concept artists came from the Qiao family, and now they've framed Xiao Lu. If Xiao Lu finds out they were our people, what will he think? Dad, if it comes to it, let's just admit it and help Xiao Lu investigate. After all, no one expected those two artists to cause trouble. I don't want to be misunderstood by Xiao Lu again. Xiao Zhengong refused without a second thought. Impossible. You're insane. Other than making Xiao Lu hate the Qiao family even more, what good would admitting it do? Two artists from the Qiao family are suspected of plagiarism. What would that make the outside world think of the Qiao family? Do you still want the company? If you ask me, we should just let it be, or even add fuel to the fire. If Xiao Lu's project fails, he'll have to find investors to make a comeback. Want to be killing two birds with one stone if we step in to help then. I've already erased the employment records of those two artists. No one knows they were with the Qiao family before. Xiao Zhengong spoke with great confidence, but seeing him like this, Xiao Yin suddenly felt a little scared. Then she shook her head, comforting herself internally. This was their father, Xiao Lu's biological father. He wouldn't do something like this. The artist's setup was probably the work of an outside competitor. Xiao Lu was in the eye of the storm right now. It was normal for him to be targeted. The father and daughter stood in the corner, each lost in their own thoughts, not expecting the subject of their discussion to also be at the party. Xiao Lu didn't even glance at the pair, walking straight to Ms. Ho. You must have heard about the plagiarism issue. I wonder if you're optimistic about the prospects for Peacekeeper. Recognizing Xiao Lu's face, Ms. Ho smiled and nodded. This is already a dead end. Do you have a way out? Unless the artist's work wasn't used in the game going live tomorrow, this matter would be a closed case of plagiarism. No one could change that. But the game's launch sequence was set in advance. Whether it was canceled at the last minute or released as scheduled, the plagiarism couldn't be hidden. Xiao Lu raised his glass and smiled. Since I've come to you, naturally I have a solution. How about this? If this situation takes a turn for the better, and the number of registered users for Peacekeeper increases instead of decreases, how about you invest in my game? Xiao Lu, that's CEO Ho, not just some random person on the street. Do you think you can just ask for an investment and get one? Come back here, Xiao Zhengong said, exasperated. He hadn't expected Xiao Lu to be so bold as to approach the investor directly. The fundamental reason the original artist had caused a plagiarism scandal was that Peacekeeper was short on money and people. If Xiao Lu really managed to get CEO Ho's backing, not even he could interfere in this matter. Looking at Xiao Zhengong's furious face, Xiao Lu sneered. And who might you be? What I do has nothing to do with you. He turned to face CEO Ho. I wonder if you're willing to take this bet with me. How much is the bet? Xiao Lu smiled, his voice full of confidence. 100 million. The moment the words left his mouth, the entire room was stunned. At this critical juncture, with Peacekeeper embroiled in a plagiarism scandal, Xiao Lu still wanted to secure a $100 million investment. This was nothing short of fantastical. But to everyone's surprise, CEO Ho actually agreed. She smiled and clinked glasses with the young man she had her eye on. Deal. If Peacekeeper can really weather this storm, I'll acknowledge you as a partner. With that, she downed her drink in one go. Noticing Xiao Lu holding his glass without drinking, CEO Ho raised an eyebrow. Xiao Lu looked at the Xiao father and daughter behind him and explained earnestly, "My sincerest apologies. I was framed by a malicious person and ended up with stomach cancer. I just had surgery not long ago, so I can't touch alcohol." CEO Ho nodded. Understood. Take care of your health. Of course. After all, I can't let those who bully me get their wish. I must live well, so I can have the strength to retaliate against them, Xiao Lu said, word by word. Watching his actions, Xiao Yin felt a mix of pride and bitterness in her heart. Even in such a desperate situation, Xiao Lu could still find a way to fight for himself. Not everyone possessed such courage. At the very least, Xiao Yin admitted to herself that if the Qiao family faced such a huge crisis, she probably wouldn't be able to calm down immediately and think of a way out. This version of Xiao Lu seemed crazy enough and brilliant enough in her eyes. But it was this outstanding brother who treated them as enemies, locked in a struggle to the death. Thinking of how Xiao Lu used to be so careful and gentle with them, Xiao Yin couldn't help but feel her eyes redden. Seeing Xiao Lu and CEO Ho chatting happily, Xiao Zhengong, standing nearby, turned and left, filled with both jealousy and anger. I refuse to believe he has any good solution. In the end, this rebellious son will still have to come begging me. He never expected that Xiao Lu truly had the ability to turn the tide. When the game went live the next day, the final map revealed in the tournament was completely different from the one that had been leaked. In other words, although Xiao Lu had hired the two original artists, he hadn't used their work at all. How is this possible? He couldn't possibly have drawn it himself in such a short amount of time. Even people within his company said they used a new artist's work later on. What on earth is going on? Xiao Zhengong roared in his office, smashing several mice in a fit of rage and embarrassment. It's because I never trusted them in the first place, Xiao Lu said with a cold laugh on the other side of the video call. One moment, Xiao Yin says she wants to help me find people, and the next, these two artists show up at my door. How could I dare to believe they were sincerely trying to help me? Li Yong said in amazement. You little rascal, you even fooled me. When did you draw the final map for the tournament? How come I didn't know? It was prepared long ago. It's just that before I could bring it out, the Qiao family eagerly sent the original artists over. With what the Qiao family has done, I wouldn't dare to let my guard down, Xiao Lu sneered. When dealing with the Qiao family, he never hesitated to assume the most malicious intentions. Regarding the matter of the artists, compared to baseless rumors about competitors, Xiao Lu felt it was more likely the Qiao family was behind it, though not necessarily Qiao Tsongtsong. But it didn't matter. He still had another move up his sleeve. This matter, along with his feud with the Qiao family, would be settled sooner or later. The sensational plagiarism incident took a dramatic turn, and the topic exploded on the hot search lists again. Many curious gamers, drawn by the news, proactively registered as Peacekeeper users, wanting to see for themselves if the final map was plagiarized. At the peak of its popularity, Xiao Lu then launched the mobile version of the game. The knife was drawn when the map was unrolled. This was his true intention. The Peacekeeper mobile version had more dazzling graphics and a simpler game mode. Xiao Lu even thoughtfully launched a teenage mode. As long as a student was online, They could play for at most 1 hour. This greatly eased the minds of parents. After all, when it comes to playing games, a game with parental supervision and a time limit was safer and more suitable for teenagers. It had only been online for 5 days. The number of registered users for the mobile version quickly jumped from 10,000 to 100,000 and then to 500,000. The popularity that the mastermind bought for Xiao Lu, on the contrary, became a booster for the Peacekeeper mobile game. In this era, game development mostly targeted working adults. There were very few types of games for students to choose from. In addition, they were not the main force of paying players, so previous game companies rarely targeted students as their users. But Xiao Lu did just that, and not only did he do it, he succeeded. Many parents used the game Peacekeeper as a tool to motivate their children, and were instead willing to top up for them. Even if the amount of each top-up was not large, the student population was vast. The small amounts added up, and the numbers looked very impressive. In this round, Xiao Lu won again. Half a month after the mobile game was launched, Xiao Lu officially reached a cooperation intention with CEO Ho and signed a contract. The latter took out $100 million to support the production of Peacekeeper and subsequent games. With this huge sum of money, it was foreseeable that Peacekeeper would inevitably reach a new level. The plagiarism controversy of the Peacekeeper game collapsed on its own. Now, what everyone was talking about was not the two plagiarizing concept artists, but Xiao Lu, this 18-year-old top science student with a miraculous experience, as if every decision he made was divinely inspired. He gave a resounding slap in the face to those who looked down on him with facts. He told them that he could do it and that he was fully capable of running a game development company well. Xiao Lu once again became a hot figure both inside and outside the circle. After securing a $100 million investment, there were even media outlets lining up to request an exclusive interview with him. How did you foresee that there might be a problem with these two people? Xiao Lu's voice was exceptionally clear in the video. Because I will never believe in any benefit that comes to my door voluntarily. This often means that there is a pitfall behind it. This is a principle I have understood since I was a child. Was your childhood so complicated? I heard you were an orphan. Yes, all my family and brothers died after I was 4 years old. Now I have my godmother and friends by my side. They're my real family. Even for them, I cannot fall easily. So, is it possible that this incident was a setup by a competitor? Who knows? It's such a coincidence that the employment histories of both concept artists were completely erased. It's such a coincidence that they came to my door when I was most in need of people. I can only say that the person behind the scenes did grasp the timing very well. But he doesn't understand me, and he underestimated me. My experiences growing up taught me the most important principle. Don't trust anyone easily. You don't know whether what they are handing you is honey or poison. As for those two concept artists and the person behind them, Xiao Lu raised his head, a hint of ruthlessness in his eyes. I know what you want to do, but I will succeed just to show you. Peacekeeper will go far, far beyond your imagination. I'm not in a hurry to catch you now. When Peacekeeper achieves great success, we will settle the score. Xiao Zhengang's heart skipped a beat as he watched. He stood up abruptly and threw the remote control in his hand. Who is he talking about? We are his closest relatives. I am his biological father. Listen to what he is saying. Xiao Song whispered, maybe brother's really angry. After all, Peacekeeper was almost shut down. It's his brainchild. Who wouldn't be angry? Do you have any right to speak? Shut up and go back to your room. Xiao Zhengang said impatiently. Ever since Xiao Lu's career became more and more successful, he found this younger son more and more disagreeable. He even felt that if it weren't for him, Xiao Lu would definitely not be so cold to him. Xiao Zhengang didn't feel that he had done anything excessive to Xiao Lu. After all, he rarely even came home before. Even if Xiao Lu was angry, he should be angry with Xiao Song or Wang Guomei. His biological father, had not wronged him and even wanted to call him back to be the heir. Watching the storm in the living room, Xiao Yan sighed. Of course, she knew what Xiao Zhengang was thinking, but she didn't think he could get what he wanted. As for the person Xiao Lu said had instructed the concept artists to submit their work, not to mention Xiao Lu, even she was annoyed. I wish I could drag out the person who deliberately framed him and grind their bones to dust. Xiao Yin said with a sinister look on her face. The work experience of those two artists, if truly investigated, could be found out sooner or later. Xiao Yin could already foresee that it would be another big battle then. It was clearly a matter of helping Xiao Lu with good intentions, but it was made counterproductive by someone who popped out of nowhere. Because of this, Xiao Lu would very likely hate her again. Xiao Yin felt suffocated and enraged just thinking about it. Looking at Xiao Zhengong's furious face, she prayed in her heart. At least, she hoped this matter had nothing to do with the Qiao family. Otherwise, Xiao Lu might really be in for a fight to the death with the family. Xiao Lu was completely unaware of the turmoil in the Qiao family. He had been so busy lately that his feet barely touched the ground. After Weha was adapted into a mobile game, the user growth was obvious, especially now during the summer vacation. Xiao Lu's status as the top scholar naturally attracted a group of students. Coupled with Weha's special youth mode, the game attracted countless students and parents to register one after another. Xiao Lu was well aware of this explosive scene. Introducing a mobile version and various skins were common monetization methods in later games. He was just releasing them ahead of time. This was market-tested. It would be strange if it wasn't popular. In short, in just over half a month, the number of registered users for the mobile version of the Weha game reached an unprecedented 5 million. Even Xiao Lu's company was about to go public on this opportunity. When the Qiao family received this news, they were in an uproar. When the Qiao family went public, it took generations of accumulation to finally make it ashore with great difficulty. How long has it been for Xiao Lu? How is this possible? Xiao Zhengong murmured in disbelief. Xiao Lu was more outstanding than he had imagined, so outstanding that he surpassed his imagination. Facing Xiao Lu's unstoppable forward pace, Xiao Zhengong only felt sour and annoyed. Xiao Lan sighed from the side. What's so strange about that? Every step Xiao Lu takes is beyond our imagination, and he does it better than we think. Even if someone told me now that Xiao Lu is going to run for president of the United States tomorrow, I would believe it. This was of course a joke, but it undoubtedly illustrated how legendary Xiao Lu's experience was. Everyone had long since unanimously recognized Xiao Lu, and from the bottom of their hearts, they felt that whatever achievements he made were a matter of course. Wang Guomei sighed, no longer in the mood to put on a facial mask. Lately, when I go out to play mahjong or for beauty treatments, everyone is talking about this game, and their words are full of praise for Xiao Lu. And that damned woman from the Li family, she boasts to everyone that Xiao Lu is her godson, and says how good and filial Xiao Lu is to her. I am clearly that boy's biological mother, but I can't even mention his name. What kind of situation is this? Under the immense glory and the contrast with motherly, Wang Guomei felt a little jealous. She even couldn't help but think if only Xiao Lu hadn't gotten lost back then. She heard that Xiao Lu had given Motherly a whole set of jade jewelry of excellent quality. If Xiao Lu had grown up by her side, these things would have been hers. Now they had all gone to an outsider. Xiao Yin stood aside, watching the reactions of everyone in the living room. She knew they completely regretted it, but so what? We have already broken Xiao Lu's heart completely. He is not willing to come home at all now. What's more, Song Song is still at home. We brought Song Song back, and he took Xiao Lu's identity for more than 10 years. He will not forgive us. Hearing Xiao Song Song's name, Xiao Zhengong's eyes flickered. He turned and asked Wang Guomei, "How are Song Song's IELTS scores? If he passes, send him abroad as soon as possible." "Not very good, didn't I tell you? Song Song doesn't like foreign countries. Why do you have to make him study for IELTS and go abroad in such a short time? He is so young. How can he go out alone?" Xiao Zhengong sneered. After so many things, he had completely figured out the little thoughts of this adopted son. Is it that he doesn't like foreign countries, or is he afraid that he is about to lose his identity as the sole heir of the Qiao family? So he is desperately trying to stay in the Qiao family? You tell him whether he wants to or not. He must go abroad. If he is unwilling, then he might as well not study at all. Anyway, he is an orphan that nobody wants. The Qiao family has raised him to the age of 18, which can be considered to have done its utmost. Dad, what do you mean by that? Xiao Lan asked in disbelief. Xiao Zhengong's brows were cold and angry. Xiao Tsong has done so many bad things. How could Xiao Lu be willing to come home? The prospect for the game Weha are much greater than we imagined. If we can't persuade Xiao Lu to come home now, we will have even less chance to keep this child in the future. Don't you want your younger brother to come home? Only by offering the identity of the heir of the Qiao family and the entire Qiao family can we show our sincerity and successfully welcome Xiao Lu back. Then what about Song Song? After all, he was the youngest son she had doted on for so many years. Wang Guangmei was a little worried. Naturally, he will go back to where he came from. Hasn't he embarrassed our family enough? If it weren't for him, Xiao Lu wouldn't have such a deep rift with the family. He has enjoyed Xiao Lu's wealth and glory for more than 10 years. What more does he want? Xiao Zhengong said, as if it were a matter of course. Ever since he had hidden the report of Xiao Lu's illness, he had wanted to kick this younger son out. However, Wang Guangmei couldn't bear to part with the child, and it was uncertain whether Xiao Lu would recover from his surgery. She thought that if Xiao Lu didn't make it, it would be fine for Xiao Tsong to stay. It was with this thought that he had kept this son. But now, Xiao Lu was healthy and his career was advancing. If he still couldn't see who was more suitable to be the heir of the Qiao family, he would be a real fool. He had to welcome him back quickly, before Xiao Lu's wings were fully fledged. This way, the Qiao family would have an heir, and the matter of the two artists could be put to rest. Xiao Zhengong felt that this was the best solution. Thinking of the now promising Xiao Lu, the members of the Qiao family had complicated expressions, but they ultimately agreed to this decision. Although what Xiao Zhengong said was ruthless, it was indeed the truth. At worst, they would give Song more compensation later. He had indeed occupied Xiao Lu's life for more than a decade, and it was only right to return it to him now. They all thought so in unison. In just a few sentences, they decided to strip Xiao Tsong of his status as heir and send him abroad. They didn't notice a venomous, tear-streaked face appear outside the door. Xiao Tsong never expected his father to be so heartless towards him. Even if he had been unfriendly to Xiao Lu and had deliberately set him up a few times, were the Qiao family members innocent at that time? When Xiao Lu was weak, they considered him the sole heir of the family and naturally spoiled him to the heavens. Now that Xiao Lu was successful, they found fault with him everywhere, even wanting to blame him for everything and drive him away. It wasn't until this moment that Xiao Tsong suddenly realized that the family who had doted on him before was actually incredibly selfish. In the end, they were just profit-driven. Both he and Xiao Lu were backup options for the position of the Qiao family heir. When one became more valuable, the Qiao family could abandon the other without hesitation. No wonder Xiao Lu refused to forgive them after he became successful. This family simply didn't deserve it. They wanted to use him as a scapegoat to reconcile with Xiao Lu. That was simply a dream. He gritted his teeth and stood there for a long time. As if a thought suddenly struck him, Xiao Tsong bolted towards Xiao Lu's company. During this time, Xiao Lu's company had already relocated twice. Now, Yaoyang occupied an entire floor of a commercial building, with 6 receptionists alone. When Tsong entered, he was amazed. He increasingly felt that it was normal for him to have been unable to compete with Xiao Lu before. Given the current scale of Xiao Lu's company, it would undoubtedly crush the Qiao Corporation in a few years. How could he possibly contend with such a person? The Qiao family's plans were likely to fall through. After seeing the current scale of Yaoyang, Xiao Tsong was utterly certain that someone who owned such a company would definitely look down on the Qiao family. Thinking of this, he smiled sinisterly. Just then, Xiao Lu passed by the company entrance in an elevator. Seeing Xiao Tsong standing in the lobby with a gloomy face, he walked straight past without a second glance. Xiao Lu, stay. I have something to tell you. Xiao Tsong anxiously took 2 steps forward, but he was quickly stopped by security. He didn't have an appointment, and they thought he was there to cause trouble. Seeing that Xiao Lu had already reached the doorway, Xiao Tsong shouted desperately. Those 2 concept artists, I know who sent them, and I know where they are now. Listen to me. Xiao Lu paused, then finally stopped. He brought Xiao Tsong to his office and sat in a chair, looking at him leisurely. Speak. How did you know about those 2? After all, After the plagiarism incident, the two concept artists had vanished into thin air, nowhere to be found. Chow Tsung-sung said with a resentful expression, "Dad did it. I met those two concept artists before at the Chow Corporation. Dad personally discovered them, and they were highly trusted by him. After the plagiarism incident, I heard Dad call them, saying he had bought them plane tickets to Cuba and told them to leave quickly." Xiao Lu leaned back in his chair and even slowly took a sip of tea. "Why would you tell me this? I don't think our relationship is that good." Chow Tsung-sung's face stiffened. He decided to throw caution to the wind and said, "Because Xiao Zhengong and the others plan to welcome you back to the Qiao family and make you the heir. They think I'll be in your way, so they're planning to send me abroad." After speaking, he stared at Xiao Lu with bloodshot eyes, a look of hatred for the Qiao family erupting from them. "They were the ones who brought me back to the Qiao family and made me the high and mighty young master of the Qiao family. Now that you're successful, you want to strip me of my identity and drive me abroad. On what grounds? Xiao Lu, they're just a bunch of profit-driven villains. Don't think being the heir of the Qiao family is a good thing. As soon as you lose your value, Xiao Zhengong and the others will kick you aside in a heartbeat." To win him over, that family had really spared no expense. He hadn't expected them to be so heartless towards Chow Tsung-sung. Xiao Lu let out a soft laugh. "So you decided to come running to me to drive a wedge between me and the Qiao family? This is the truth. I have to tell you the truth. You can't go back to the Qiao family. Staying in Yaoyang and running your own business is the best choice. I understand. You can leave now. So you won't go back to the Qiao family, right?" Chow Tsung-sung asked anxiously. How was he any different from the profit-driven members of the Qiao family? He paid lip service to how unscrupulous Qiao Zhengong and the others were, even calling the Qiao couple by their full names. But as long as he could stay in the Qiao family and enjoy wealth and luxury, this young master would probably be all too eager to play the part of a loving and filial son with them. Truly, birds of a feather flock together. Xiao Lu stared at him and sneered. "That's none of your business. In any case, I look down on all of you. Get lost." Chow Tsung-sung left, unwilling to give up. Xiao Lu pondered for a moment, then immediately called his lawyer. "Get the relevant documents ready. Our final great act is about to begin." Those two concept artists were brought in by Xiao Zhengong. "I'll send you the relevant flight information in the next 2 days. Have the detective look into it. On the day the company goes public, I'm going to use this to give the Qiao family a big gift." He thought back on everything he had experienced up to this point, from being framed for stealing money and beaten until he was covered in blood, to the Qiao family repeatedly showing up to cause trouble. Xiao Lu had had enough of this life. He utterly detested this group of vampires from the Qiao family. Therefore, only by completely crushing the Qiao family could he achieve true freedom. With 1 week left before the start of school, Xiao Lu's company finally went public. Yaoyang and peacekeeping forces had been trending topics recently. Thanks to Xiao Lu's legendary story, the government even sent a special representative for the ribbon-cutting ceremony, and many media outlets were present. Xiao Lu answered questions about the company's development in a proper and standard manner. But halfway through the press conference, a reporter suddenly raised their hand to ask a question. "There were rumors that you were not an orphan at all, but the true young master of the Qiao Corporation, who ended up in an orphanage after getting lost as a child. Do you admit to this?" He glanced at the reporter's face. It was unfamiliar. Xiao Lu chuckled and nodded. "Theoretically speaking, yes." The audience was in an uproar, and the media's camera flashes went off nonstop. It was common knowledge that Xiao Lu was an orphan with a tragic background. Everyone thought he had gotten to where he was by his own efforts, not expecting such a large corporation to be backing him. Before anyone could react, the doors to the conference hall were thrown open. Walking in were the meticulously dressed Wang Guomei and Xiao Zhengong. They exchanged a glance with the reporter who had just asked the question, then walked to the front with reddened eyes. Xiao Zhengong said with some bitterness, "Xiao Lu, I know you suffered in the orphanage when you were young. I can understand why you resent your mother and me. But we are father and son, bound by blood. Your mother and I truly ache for you and want to bring you back. You can't abandon your family. You mind Sung Sung's presence, don't you? He's just someone we adopted. As long as you're willing to come back, you are the true heir of the Qiao family." He looked at Xiao Lu, his face full of expectation. "We brought the share transfer agreement. If you're willing, we can sign it right away, and the entire Qiao Corporation will be yours." Wang Guomei hastily took the document from her bag and had someone pass them to Xiao Lu. This usually stern mother now had tears in her eyes. She cried as she spoke. "You are the child I carried for 10 months and gave birth to in hardship. How could I possibly not want you? None of us could have foreseen what happened back then. Now you've become so successful, the top scorer in the college entrance exam and starting your own company, yet you're still unwilling to come home. Watching from the sidelines, my heart is filled with sorrow. Just give your mom a chance. Let me dote on you, okay?" She cried until her eyes were red, and she truly looked like a loving mother. The camera flashes captured their reddened eyes and trembling fingers for a long time. No one would doubt the couple's profound and sincere love for Xiao Lu. The top science student, always known as an orphan, had a new twist in his life story. Recalling that Xiao Lu had previously said all his family members were dead, the people present began to murmur among themselves. What kind of luck does this kid have? His company just went public, and his birth parents immediately show up at his door. And these aren't just any parents. The Qiao Corporation is huge. They must really dote on their child. They even brought the share transfer agreement. But this kid, even if he's throwing a tantrum, he can't just say his whole family is dead. How can he be so thoughtless? It's hard to say. Didn't they mention he was abandoned at an orphanage when he was 4? He must hold a grudge. But it looks to me like the couple genuinely cares for him. I hope this family can reconcile and live happily. With the Qiao parents making such a scene, it made him look like an ungrateful brat who didn't appreciate their kindness or family ties. They, on the other hand, lightly glossed over the past, not mentioning a single word. What a pair of cold-hearted parents. Even now, they hadn't forgotten to scheme against him. Xiao Lu sneered and held up the share transfer agreement. "So, as long as I agree to return to the Qiao family, you'll give me the company and are willing to kick out Qiao Song. Remembering Qiao Jingang's repeated instructions on the way here, Wang Guomei gritted her teeth and nodded. "Whatever you want. You suffered so much as a child. This is what we should do to make it up to you." Xiao Lu smiled, the corner of his mouth curling into a breathtaking arc. He tore the share transfer agreement in his hands to shreds and, with a smack, threw them viciously at the couple's faces. "Are you even qualified to say that? I have no parents. You are my enemies." His voice echoed through the entire venue, and the reporters below stared, their mouths agape. Before Qiao Jingang could say anything more, Xiao Lu spoke into the microphone with a mocking expression. "Weren't you the one who framed me for plagiarizing my game? What kind of good person are you pretending to be now?" As he spoke, a recording of a call between Xiao Jingang and 2 artists appeared on the large screen behind him. Ruin that game of Xiao Lu's. When he has nowhere else to turn, he'll naturally come running to the Qiao family. A disobedient child must have his limbs broken before he learns to bow his head. The menace and ruthlessness in his words were obvious, a stark contrast to the loving and pitiful father figure Xiao Jingang had just projected. Xiao Jingang's face turned ashen. Trembling, he pointed at the screen and roared, "Turn it off. That's not me." But the evidence, meticulously prepared by the lawyer, was revealed bit by bit. There were records of the time Xiao Lu was taken back home. There were recordings of Xiao Lu being beaten and scolded at the Qiao residence. There was even a medical report of the injuries he sustained, beaten until his head was bleeding from when he left the Qiao family. All of this was like a huge slap in the face to the Qiao couple, proving that everything they had just said was a lie. After preparing for so long, after enduring for so long, Xiao Lu had done it all for this moment. His voice was filled with exhilaration. He felt a sense of vindication deep in his bones. "You threw me out yourselves, and then you brought back an adopted son, Qiao Song. After I arrived at the Qiao home, you ignored me, humiliated me, and starved me to the point of stomach cancer. You even hid my medical reports, wishing I would just die there. You forced me to live like a dog in the Qiao home, to be bullied by everyone. You even framed me for stealing money, beating me until my head was bleeding and I was covered in blood. And that wasn't enough. You came looking for trouble time and again, tried to kidnap me, and even deliberately framed me for plagiarism. Who would dare to have parents like you? You're worse than animals. You have no right to talk about family affection in front of me. Xiao Lu's voice, full of hatred, resonated through the venue, each word enunciated clearly. On the large screen behind him, past words from Wang Guomei and Xiao Zhengang appeared. Even if you died in the Qiao home, no one would care. What good can come from a lowly bastard from an orphanage like you? Song Song is 1,000 times better than you. If I had known my biological son was this kind of trash, I should have strangled you at birth. Stay away from Song Song. He is the most beloved youngest son of our Qiao family. You're not even worth a single hair on his head. It would have been better if you had died in the orphanage as a child. Then you wouldn't be here embarrassing our family now. Xiao Lu sneered at Wang Guomei's ghastly pale face. What? Now that you see I've started a company, you suddenly remember you have a biological son. It's only because there's a profit to be made that you're scheming against me again. Wang Guomei, Xiao Zhengang, you are absolutely disgusting. The crowd below erupted with a buzz. They had never expected such a twist in the Qiao family's affairs. What kind of parents could be so cruel to their own biological son? When Xiao Lu had said his family was dead, they were surprised, even thinking the boy was a bit extreme. But now, it seemed that having parents like these was indeed the same as them being dead. No, it was even worse than them being dead. How could they be called parents? They were simply enemies. What terrible crime did Xiao Lu commit to deserve parents like this? For a biological mother and father to say such soul-crushing things to their child, they truly have no conscience at all. And they have the nerve to come over and say they want to take Xiao Lu back into the Qiao family. Why do they want him to go back? Aren't they just trying to kill him? Listening to the whispers around her, Wang Guomei felt as if she had been stripped naked and thrown into a crowd, utterly humiliated. But those recordings, the things Xiao Lu said, were indeed things she had done. Scenes she thought had been deliberately forgotten flooded wildly into her mind. Wang Guomei wanted to tell herself that she hadn't been that bad to Xiao Lu, but the facts spoke for themselves. She could no longer deceive herself. She broke down and cried. I'm not that kind of person. I really know I was wrong now. He's my son. How could I possibly want to kill him? I just wanted him to come home. Someone nearby looked at her with contempt. How could Xiao Lu possibly want a mother like you? I'm afraid he wouldn't even visit your grave if you died. Hearing this, Wang Guomei could no longer bear the disdainful gazes of everyone present. Her eyes rolled back, and she fainted completely. Just then, a pair of police officers walked in. Who called the police? Xiao Lu raised his hand. I want to charge Xiao Zhengang with malicious commercial crimes and for deliberately framing me for plagiarism of my original artwork. I have the evidence right here. The twists and turns came one after another. Amidst the dumbfounded expressions of all the guests, Xiao Zhengang was finally taken away. The evidence, meticulously prepared by a lawyer in Xiao Lu's hands, was enough to keep the perpetually respectable and arrogant head of the Qiao family in prison for several years. The long-disputed game plagiarism case finally concluded with the revelation that it was a setup by his own biological father. The matter was posted online by the media, causing another public uproar. Swapping the children, mistreating their own son, starving him to the point of stomach cancer, framing him with false accusations, and putting on a public act. Any one of these accusations would have been sensational enough, let alone all of them combined. And the victim was an outstanding young top scorer in the science stream. Furious netizens crashed the Qiao family's official website and spontaneously boycotted their products. With so much public attention and discussion, the police closed the case quickly. The final outcome was that Xiao Zhengang was sentenced to 5 years in prison for commercial crimes. The sentence wasn't long, but the problem was that the Qiao family's reputation in Jing City was completely ruined. Everyone knew that they had mistreated their biological son and deliberately framed and slandered him. Under the joint boycott of netizens, the Qiao family didn't even last a year before hastily going bankrupt. The first to be unable to bear it was, surprisingly, Xiao Song. He sold off many of the family's valuable jewels and fled abroad with the money. Wang Guomei couldn't believe it. Her most beloved younger son had actually taken the money and run. Although she had once considered sending Xiao Song abroad, she had only seen it as a temporary measure, planning to bring him back later. She never expected that now, with a family in such dire straits, it would be this most beloved child who would stab her in the back. Unable to bear this disparity, coupled with the scorn she faced in her circle of wealthy ladies, she died by suicide due to severe depression within just 2 or 3 years. After her death, the two sisters, Xiao Lan and Xiao Yin, went far abroad to make a living, leaving this place of sorrow. By then, Xiao Lu was already in university, and he had a new life of his own. With the Qiao family's affairs settled, only a smooth path lay ahead for him.